Hello and welcome to Taking You to School with Dr. Tom Prichard. I'm your host, JP John Paz. With me, of course, the star of the show, the former WWE World Tag Team Champion, one of the greatest trainers of all time. No doubt about it. He is the Doctor of Desire himself, Dr. Tom Prichard. Dr. Tom, how you doing today, sir?
The question is, how are you doing today, John?
I am doing great. I cannot complain at all.
Yeah, I
Things
can't
feel pretty
either. I
good.
mean, every day I get up right now, I feel really good about it. So, yeah, things are going good. JPWA is in its last week. Then we're going to start a new class starting July 3rd. So, yeah, things are going right along.
How is it going in the new place, if you will? Are you
I
liking
love
it
it.
better?
Sure do. Love it. It's called the Sportatorium. It's a tin building, just like the Dallas Sportatorium. But yeah, I love it. It's great.
Ibsen, hello,
Ibsen.
Ibsen. Nice, nice. As far as the Graham family, we'll start off with the topic at hand. We'll talk about them, but first, say hello to Jason. Hope you are doing
Jason.
well. Yes. Good afternoon, good evening, Jason. But as far as Dark Side of the Ring, it was obviously last week, but they covered the Graham family breaking the cycle, that legacy. Did you see that episode? What did you think about the Grahams and then Dark Side of the Ring?
Um, I'm liking it uh, because I knew Eddie Graham, I knew Dr. Jerry and Mike, and the legacy that they have, and I thought they did a good job of covering it. But every time I watch something like that, I learn a lot of new things. So I didn't know what, and I don't think they got involved in why Eddie decided to kill himself. So overall, I mean, I thought it was good. I don't know how else or where else they could have gone with it. And an hour is really sometimes too short to tell a whole story, and that's what I was thinking with this one too. It kind of left me wanting more.
For sure. There definitely is more to talk to. It seemed like, oddly enough, it was almost like it just ran in the family, which is absolutely insane. Like Eddie's father committed suicide, his uncle committed suicide,
Yeah,
Eddie,
those.
then his son, and then his grandson. It's like, oh my God, it's crazy. Five people.
Well, yeah, and you don't understand it unless you're in the middle of it, and even then, I guess you don't understand it even more. So, um, but obviously, that was before mental health was something that people were really cognizant of and thinking about, like they are today. But I mean, just because you discovered it now didn't mean wasn't there earlier.
Yep.
So it's just the way people dealt with things. Same thing with drugs and alcohol. People didn't know what was going to happen once you started down the road. Didn't know about addiction until you found out. So it's what what an impact Eddie Graham had on wrestling. What an impact they all had on wrestling. So
Did you ever work for Eddie?
no,
Is there a reason
never did.
behind that?
Yeah, it just never came up. I was always somewhere else.
Did you
So
not want to work for him?
no, I would have loved it. Tampa, right up my alley. When I went to work for Continental, it was located. It was based out of Pensacola, Florida. So the beach would have been nice. And I think it would have been one of those Bill Watts territories where you're going to learn by osmosis. No matter how stupid you may be, you got to be completely just uh, blind, deaf, and dumb to not learn something there. So yeah, it
What
would have
was
been
his
great.
what was his reputation like as far as promoter?
Uh, the same thing Bill Watts was, which told me that as long as you did your job and as long as you did what you were asked to do or told to do, you were fine. He just wanted you to be there an hour ahead of time, have a good match, obey the rules. If he said don't go out and lose a fight, then he meant don't go out and lose a fight. That was one of those things back then because they had their territories, and Eddie was priding himself on having tough guys in the ring and doing all that stuff. And Bill Watts was the same way. So everybody knew they were hard asses, but fair hard asses. If you want to come right down to it, So I think all those guys back then were cultivating talent in their territories, and Eddie Graham especially would take a young guy like a Magnum TA or a Dusty Rhodes, make them stars, and know how to tell them and know what to tell them. And he just had this way of doing things. And so again, all the guys who became top bookers went through, excuse me, Eddie Graham, including Bill Watts, who also it was Eddie Graham and Dory Funk Sr. And I don't know that if they even mentioned Dory Sr. in that, but they were considered to the smartest guys in the business when they were around. So, and back then you had to be smart. You had to know how to run angles, and you had to have a good crew, and you were running every week. So, never had the opportunity, but I would have loved it.
Crazy the influence he had on the New York territory on the WWF, aka WWF, because of his relationship with Vince Sr. But obviously, he's there with Dr. Jerry Graham. He leaves, he
Right.
goes to Florida, but then he kind of is cultivating the talent that'll go up there. So, Superstar Billy Graham, he'll send Dusty up there for main events. He'll send Bob Backlund up there to be a star. I mean, pretty crazy his influence.
Right. Right. That was it was the Graham brothers versus Rocca and Perez that got the big riot in MSG, and it was, I think you had to be over 14 to go to wrestling for a while. Or what was the age? Was it 17?
I thought it was, didn't they say 16 or 17 to get in for a while after that?
Yeah, something like that. It was one of those things, and that was because those guys were outrageous,
Heat
but
magnet.
yeah, heat magnet, and they were smart, and Eddie was a smart guy. So uh, no doubt, why not groom guys in their territory and then send them up to New York to be stars? Just made sense.
And of course, the other part of that documentary was obviously the rest of the family, but a big part is Mike Graham, who you actually got to wrestle for Mid South a few times.
Yeah, yeah, I did, and so and Mike was always cool. Mike was always great. Um, Great worker. I thought we had good matches. So
What about his mentality? Did you like him, like his attitude? Did you like him personally?
I did actually, because he was all right. And when we got in the ring, it was one of those things that you just knew and you had chemistry with. So yeah, but I liked him personally. He was good.
Were you shocked when you found out about his death?
Yeah, I think shocked, but then not surprised, I guess. And I don't know why. Don't even ask me why. But when you say shocked, because uh, anything like that, I think, well, things like that shock me, and this one shocked me. So, but he had, I don't know. See, I can't even say what he had because I don't know. I wasn't in his shoes. I don't know what he was thinking.
And didn't he put on his dad's boots? Or was it his son's boots he put on before he died?
Well, that's what they said, and maybe that's what happened. So, if that's the case, I don't know.
Man, what it's just insane. If you just look at that film and that tragedy, his daughter, thank God, is doing okay, and the granddaughter. But my God, that just one after another, horrible. Like they said, breaking the cycle. Hopefully, the daughter breaks that cycle because that is just awful.
Yeah, I met her not too long ago in Tampa, and she was very nice. It seems like she's um, having a good life. So I hope so too. I hope she, pardon me, continues to have a good life.
Man, the legacy though of the Grants for a long period of time in wrestling was pretty substantial. My gosh, the '60s when he was wrestling, and in the '70s running the territory, even into the early '80s, it was very, very strong influence in wrestling, no doubt about it.
My first night in Los Angeles, I met Dr. Jerry Graham, and I'd gone to the down the hallway and went in a room, and there he was sitting there, and I didn't know. I knew who it was, but I thought I should leave because no, come on in, sit down, and introduce myself. And I said, asked him where I came from, and told him I came from Paul Bosch. So then he started telling Paul Bosch stories and Houston stories, and so here was this mythological guy who would like cigars with $100 bills. Just can you imagine? But that's what he did.
He must have
Yeah.
making some amount of money back then.
Well,
Wow.
that's what I mean. Even back then, though, $100 was $100. But there's
Yeah, yeah,
even
of
more.
course.
Yeah. It's like wow. So that was part of the legend, the legacy, and then Eddie went on to be successful and one of the most intelligent promoters and bookers that everybody learned from and trusted. So it's a shame.
There was another Dark Side of the Ring that happened this week. Obviously, that was a lot sooner, but 7 days later than that. The Graham one was the Matt Bourne documentary, and Ibsen says he saw your part in the Doink documentary today. Obviously, Matt
Yeah,
Bourne was the original evil Doink.
yeah. Matt was could be a polarizing guy. Did you ever meet Matt?
No, never got the chance.
Oh, okay. Well, because he could be one of the nicest guys, and he really was. I think he was misunderstood a lot of times, and we can't. Why even try to figure it out? Just either you get along or you can't. And but Matt had. Have you seen it yet?
No, not yet. Haven't seen it
Okay.
yet.
Well, you'll see the different personality traits that people say Matt had. Matt had a lot of personality traits, and so I don't know what to say about that one either because I pretty much said it on the deal last night. He was just this crusty, like Krusty the Clown on The Simpsons, the guy
Yes.
smoking a cigarette, and he looked like it in the locker room. And it was Hawk who said, that we got our own Krusty the Clown right over there, and you saw Matt just sitting there with a cigarette and hair all messed up. It was perfect. But
That makes perfect sense. Yeah, that's absolutely perfect. Yeah.
well, yeah, I didn't know Matt beat his wife either. That's what I'm saying.
From
There's
Scorch, yeah, he's saying that Matt Bourne beat his wife. That could keep him out of the Hall of Fame. Look at that. I'm like, yeah, look at Benoit. Domestic violence.
yeah, I understand that. I I'd go with that. Just I didn't know that either.
How was your interaction with Doink the Clown when you were both together in 1993 in the WWF?
It was great because I had known Matt before, and and he was the same guy. I went on a tour of Japan with Matt, and I think we were there 3 weeks and hung out, ate, had a good time. So I always go along with Matt.
You guys teamed up a bunch. Is he one of your favorite tag team partners?
Of course he is. Sure.
Interesting though that Japan tour with him. Is there a reason why you guys were booked together, or it just happened to be like happenstance you guys were booking together?
Yeah, it was just one of those things where they're putting the card together, and I think throwing us in there was part of the American tour, and who do we have? What Americans do we have? So for a tag.
Who did Doink ride with? Did he play ribs like a clown would do?
Well, I don't. I think Matt rode by himself a lot. Matt could be a loner, and I understand that part. But yeah, he no, Matt was like everybody else. I think on the road, he just wanted to do his thing and then move on.
When you look at Doink the Clown on the surface, you're like, oh my god, come on, a clown gimmick, like that's it's horrible. But when he plays it does the evil clown like Krusty, obviously from The Simpsons. I mean, it was when Rayo Paulo plays it's a little bit different, very corny, very hokey. This was just ingenious the way he played the character.
Well, and that was Matt being able to dress up and be Matt. Um, that just allowed him to be even more over the edge, like he would be if he's ribbing or having a good time and having fun with it. And you knew he was having fun with it, but he was still mad. And I think that was what made it so authentic, because he wasn't Matt Borne playing Krusty the Clown. He was Krusty the Clown. He I think Mick said it best. He said he inhabited the character. He inhabited Doink, and he wasn't pretending to be a clown. He was a clown. He was an evil clown, and he was having a lot of fun. So I don't know that just anybody could do something like that. It takes a special, takes somebody to embrace it.
Was he disliked in the locker room?
There were guys who didn't care for Matt. But then again, I don't think Matt really cared. Yeah, I think everybody was civil at the time, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't know anybody specific didn't like him, but I can understand why. And I say I can understand why. Maybe I can't. I say that, and I had just caught myself for a minute, because I don't always understand why somebody might not like somebody.
From Dale Mountain, apparently Matt Borne held a grudge with Jim Duggan for decades because he decided to shoot on Duggan during an indie show almost 30 years after their last backstage altercation. Obviously,
Well,
Duggan isn't the only one. Yeah, Duggan isn't the only one with the altercation.
No, you're right.
He did hold a grudge for sure.
Right. So that's what I mean. Matt has those qualities about him that doesn't always endear him to everybody else. So, but I think Mick Foley said it on another one. He said, if having that attitude is a crime, I guess it's a crime. So,
man, hold a grudge for 30 years. Jeez.
Right. I know, that's a long time. That's really like swallowing poison, hoping the other guy's going to die.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yes, well said. From Jason, I've seen some of Bourne's matches from World Class when he was tagging with Buzz Sawyer. They looked vicious.
They were vicious. That was a hell of a worker, though. But he could be vicious.
And let's go back to 1982. You actually faced that team of Borne and Sawyer in Georgia Championship Wrestling. They defeated you and Dale Veasley. Did they stiff you? Did they beat the hell out of you?
No, I don't think they beat the hell out of me. I don't, because I worked with both Matt and Buzz, and they were great. But
didn't Buzz hurt you once in the ring?
No.
No? Didn't he throw you out of the ring or something?
He didn't hurt me, though.
Oh, he didn't hurt you. Okay.
He threw me out because I was the only one who could do it right and not get hurt.
Oh, there you go. All right.
There you go. Right.
I think you're just trying to cover up for Buzz and Matt Stiffany, I think.
And why wouldn't I? Damn right. So,
Magazine, in my opinion, Evil Doink was one of the scariest heels of all time when he bludgeoned Kona Crush with that fake arm cast. It shocked the hell out of me. That was great. Around the WrestleMania 9 period, that was great. When you had the two Doinks and then he nailed them with the fake arm. That was great.
Yeah. Well, they talk about that on this episode too. So it was so easy because you had the face paint that it became, well, we could just make anybody Doink. And I don't think that's the case, as you just illustrated with Ray a minute ago. It's not the same thing. You can tell the difference. And when Matt was a babyface, he understood what he had to do, and he really didn't change his style. So,
and you could tell. I mean, Brett's one of the best ever. But when he wrestled Brett at SummerSlam '93, you're like, wow, this is an awesome match. The Clown against the best worker in the company is an awesome match. It's just like funny to think, but that's how good Borne was, really.
But it's because by this time he was a clown who kind of like wore his clown outfit to work. and like he punched in his clown outfit, and he goes sit in the dressing room as a clown the whole time, and smoke cigarettes or tell shitty jokes or whatever he did as a clown, and then he went out there and wrestled, and did he never wasn't Doink when he became Doink, if that makes any sense whatsoever. But
Yes.
that's why as evil Doink, he was just being evil Matt and having fun with it.
Did Cornette ever want to bring him to Smoky Mountain?
I don't know. I really don't know. Don't know what the relationship was.
Remember, he shows up at ECW after WWF in about '94 era. He's born again, except all the paint is like chipped off his face. He looks like a complete like serial killer nut job.
Well, yeah. Well, I think
Awesome
that's.
gimmick though.
I was going to say probably that's how he was feeling. That's why it was so authentic. I'm going to do something tonight. So yeah, I did see that part.
That's actually almost like scarier because it's like, okay, he's like, you could kind of see what he really looks like, his real face, but the paint is still there. It's like, wow, what a like, he's not going to wash that off. What a nut.
Well, it's like the Joker and Batman, and
Yeah. Yep.
Matt
Yep.
was evolving into whatever it was, and becoming half Born or half Matt and half Doink. So yeah, born again. I wonder how did the ECW fans take to that?
They were kind of digging it. I mean, he didn't really get cheered at all, which I don't think he was supposed to, but they were kind of
Right.
digging it. Didn't
Yeah.
last long enough though.
Well, yeah, it could be for whatever reason.
From Scorch, the decision to make Doink a babyface was a big mistake. Evil Doink never got stale. I don't know what the writers were thinking. Do you know what maybe a writer you were related to at that point were thinking?
No, I have no idea. Couldn't tell you.
I totally agree, though. It wasn't getting old. I don't know why Vince wanted to turn a babyface. Maybe he wanted that traditional clown,
You never know. You never know. The world loves a good clown. At least I
Yes.
love a good clown. Anyway.
Jason, did Bourne ever give you advice or help while in Portland or Georgia?
Um, I don't know if he gave me advice. I mean, except, but everybody told me to shake Elton Owen's hand. Good firm handshake because Elton likes a good firm handshake. You shake like a man. And can you shoot? He said, make sure you tell him you can shoot. So I told him I could shoot. But other than that, no, not really. I mean, I hung out with Matt in Oregon a couple of times in Georgia, I think. And that's about it.
Doink brought realism when he attacked Crush with 30-pound weight that got Macho Man and Jerry Lawler out of character with their remarks on commentary. He attacked Crush with it for 5 straight minutes. So some realism for sure out of Doink the Clown.
Well, Matt knew how to bring it and make it real because he really did hate when somebody would say wrestling was fake. He hated the word fake, and he got really upset anytime anybody would even imply. So most people didn't imply anything.
Was he a tough guy? Was he a bit of a shooter?
Well, I knew he could amateur wrestle. He was, and it's the description is very apropos. He was thick. He was just one of those guys that, well, he could be mean. I don't know if that equates to tough or not. I mean, I know he could take a beating. Go ahead.
Oh, it seems like he was always like willing to scrap because there's like a Brian Blair fight, there's an Arn Anderson fight, there's a problem with Duggan, right? I mean, there's like so many instances where he's just wanting to scrap with all these guys.
I think that goes back to drugs and alcohol. You know what I mean? I mean, really, I think it all centers on drinking, and doing stupid stuff. So, uh, yeah, he wasn't always smart, but
Rick Brooks, the legendary Rick Brooks. I've seen Matt be pretty cruel, to a young fan one night in Cincinnati, Ohio. He referred to him as Pizza Face because of an acne problem, giving him a hard time in front of the crowd. What do you think about that?
well, I think he was being a real heel, kind of like MJF is. That was Matt just trying to be a heel. And sometimes people understood it, other times people thought it went too far. But I just think that was Matt trying to be a heel.
Do you like that insult, Pizza Face, when somebody's got an acne problem? Do you like that? A little weak.
Well, what else could he say? I mean, you know, I'm not going to say you should call him something else, but I mean, if you're going to pick at somebody and say something, you're going to get upset because somebody calls you pizza face. Think about it. Think about it. If that's going to upset you that much, should you really be leaving the house alone?
Yeah, that's not good.
I mean you might need somebody to hold your hand the whole time, the whole day.
What about the other week? MJF said to Adam Cole that his body's so bad and so he looks so skinny and frail that crack whores are jealous of him. Like that. That was great, right? Adam
Right.
Cole's comeback goes, "Oh, you're not jealous of my body. You're jealous of my body of work." I was like, "Oh, that was like awful."
Oh,
Ugh,
yeah. Yeah. No,
pitiful.
no. Yeah, I don't think, but you can't, yeah, it ain't yesterday no more. And you can't do what you used to do yesterday or years ago. You just can't say those things. People get upset, people get offended. And
Matt Borne said that working with Bret Hart was like a day off because he and Bret had such great in-ring chemistry. What do you
I
think about
agree.
that?
I agree. I agree. I can see he and Brett having great chemistry. They both had that same style.
The thing is, you also had great chemistry with Bret Hart. Maybe Bret just had good chemistry with everybody, but that was a great match at SummerSlam '93, and your match from Raw in '94 was a great match with Bret the Hitman Hart.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought so. I thought Brett, he is like a day off, man. He's one of those guys you don't have to call anything. He feels it. So,
I would be so honored to have a heel wrestler clown on me. I wouldn't be that offended. I totally agree. I like that. It's funny.
so I'm saying, at least you're getting the attention from the guys. But I don't know. Nobody knows how to do it these days, and plus, people get offended.
I was just talking to the ECW ring announcer, Steven DeAngelis, and he was saying that a guy had a sign said blown spot. And every time somebody would screw something up, he put up the blown spot. So he brought it to the cameraman's attention. He brought the microphone over to him and he goes, "Wow, you're telling everybody what you did to my dog last night." So then the guy never put the sign up again.
That's pretty good. I got so sick I was blowing chunks. That's my dog. Yeah, terrible. It's horrible.
That's blowing, yeah, that's
They
blowing
don't
chunks.
care.
Who's Chunks? Oh, yeah. I love
Yeah,
that.
that's not good.
Did you ever see Matt in action in the streets of Portland? Meaning, I guess, a street fight.
No, it wasn't in the streets of Portland, but it was at his aunt's bar, and I did see Matt hit this guy because he was arguing with Matt's aunt, and Matt stepped over there, and he said, "I'm going to give you 5 seconds, or 3 seconds. I'm sorry, 3 seconds to get out of my aunt's face." The guy started to say something. Matt said one, and boom, popped him. Guy hit his head on the back, knocked him down, knocked him out, completely out.
Wow.
Yeah, they called an ambulance for him, and the guy told him he got beat up by 3 guys. Yeah, yeah. So I saw that one. It's another place outside of Portland, I think. And a guy wanted to debate Matt or arm wrestle him or something, and Matt hit him too, knocked him out. Didn't call an ambulance for him though. His friends got him out.
Wow.
So yeah,
Tough guy. Not to be messed with.
well, again, I go back to you know the people, places, things, and alcohol, and sometimes you just start whatever alcohol does to make people want to fight. That's what's going on, I think.
One of the wrestlers interviewed on Dark Side of the Ring said it was unusual for anybody to hold a grudge against Jim Duggan because Duggan is so likable. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that. Hacksaw, he's got a great personality. He likes to joke around. He's, yeah, very likable.
I wouldn't hold a grudge against him because the size of his hands are like bear claws, and if he punched you, you'd probably get knocked out one shot.
What good is a grudge going to do anybody? I mean, just holding on to something. Um, if it's 30 years ago, just step away. Let it go. It's done.
I agree. Not good to hold on to it like that.
Nope.
How did Pat Patterson in The Office take to Matt Borne as a person? Because maybe kind of his personality could have led to an early exit from the WWF.
I really don't know about that. So I don't know.
Rick Brooks, who actually is very good friends with Brett Sawyer, your good friend, former tag team partner. From what he heard, Matt and Buzz did not get along real well.
Yeah, probably not. They were both a lot alike.
Too much alike, maybe?
Maybe so.
Ibsen, Matt said in his shoot interview that Macho Man did give Hulk Hogan the infamous black eye at WrestleMania 9 and that Randy confessed that to Matt. Do you believe that at all?
Well, how is Hogan supposedly have got the black eye? Was that when Beefcake?
No, on the boat, you mean, with Beefcake getting his face?
What was the story going around that how Hogan got the black eye?
I was trying to remember if it was a boating thing or not, or an accident. I'm not sure what the issue was, but obviously the rumor for years was that Macho Man gave it to him, but I don't know if that's accurate or not.
I don't either, but I don't know. So
I know Hogan's a lover, not a fighter. As far as like getting into it with the boys, I mean, he's a top dog. He's not going to fight anybody, even as Macho Man. He's not going to fight the guy.
No.
Great story, though. I don't know if I believe Matt Borne, but great story. Yes, the cooker himself, Bob Cook. From my own personal experiences with Matt Borne over the years, he was a complete jerk in the same vein as Buzz Sawyer. That's from the cooker himself.
Well, yeah, and I just said they are kind of alike, and Matt is an acquired taste, no doubt.
Was he ever a jerk to you?
No.
No.
Never was.
I find that hard to believe, but
because people are jerks to me. Because people talk to me like a jerk.
Yeah,
finding that hard to believe.
From Scorch, I saw a video of a fan who got beat up by a wrestler at an indie show because the wrestler gave the fan's girlfriend his hotel key card, and the fan attacked the wrestler. What an idiot! Wow, that's kind of funny though. Jesus.
Well, yeah. Saw a video of a fan.
Isn't that crazy? Wow. That's kind of funny though, like of the heel.
Well,
or do you think that's crossing the line? Maybe.
No, it's not crossing the line. Are you kidding me? Why wouldn't he give his hotel key to her? I mean, if she's gone, she's gone. Don't get mad at him.
Yeah, well,
get mad at her.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's true.
Wait a minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, hey, she had the right to refuse it. She could have said no, throw it away, but she kept it, obviously. That made him mad.
Have you ever seen the show Impractical Jokers?
No. Well, maybe I have.
It's basically a hidden camera prank show on
Right.
these people. So they're not in on the joke, but one of the guys on the show, as like a punishment, they're like, you have to pretend that you're giving these notes to these people. So along with the notes as like a prank, he just had to sit there, and they gave this woman right in front of her husband a hotel key card and a note that says "meet me later" or whatever, and he had to turn around and be like, They're like, oh, by the way, we gave that guy and the woman their hotel key card, so he had to go over and get it back. And the guy flipped. I mean, the husband like was furious. So then
Right.
he goes, I want to see the manager because they were at a restaurant. He goes, this is bullshit. These got people giving my wife the hotel. He comes back over and he pretends he's the manager. The guy goes nuts. Goes,
Yeah.
you're not the manager. Oh, it's great. And then he has to
Yeah.
go back over because he forgot to pick up the hotel key card off the table. So it's really awkward. Like he goes, can I get Mike? And the guy's like staring at him. Oh, it's great.
Well, that's what I'm saying, man. What's really crossing the line?
Hey,
And who is it? And who is it who's crossing the line right there? If he's getting
yeah,
so upset that the guy gave her a hotel key card, he would know she has no interest whatsoever, or he
right.
would be
Yep.
worried that she does. There you
Yep.
go.
Yep.
Yeah.
True. Speaking from the magazine retriever himself, speaking of grudges, some of my favorite matches are those veteran wrestlers come out of retirement and tag with their former nemesis against younger heel tag teams. Interesting.
Such as.
Yeah, give us some examples. Interesting.
Yeah.
I could think of some veterans and young guys teaming up together.
Well, the
Maybe,
fads.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say maybe something more like more recent times, but what about some old school stuff? I'd love to hear some thoughts of that from magazine retriever. Can you think of any
Where veteran wrestlers come out and tag with their
former
former
nemesis?
nemesis, yeah, against younger heels. That is an old school train of thought, though.
I do remember
So,
ECW when Raven returned. He teamed with Dreamer for a little bit, which obviously was his sworn enemy for years. And they would
right.
fight like Credible and Lance Storm, who were the Impact players, who were like the young team of the day or young team of that era. I mean, this is 1999. They were pretty young in the business at that point. But that's like kind of an old school, cool like thought. Like, hey, I'm going to come and beat up these young upstarts, but I'm going to team up with my old enemy.
Right. And they, yeah. Johnny Valentine and Wahoo McDaniel did that years ago in Houston, and teamed up with each other after they'd been beating them and hell on each other. Jackie Fargo and Jerry Lawler. There
Yeah,
you
there's
go.
a good one. Doctor Who, What, Where? Wow, great name there. Doctor Who, What, Where? Yeah, Fargo and Lawler. There you go. Yep. Obviously, Dreamer and Raven, like I said. Yep. Um, Going back to the Hogan thing, according to Hulk Hogan, he got the black eye at WrestleMania 9 in a parasailing accident the day before. Didn't deny or confirm the Macho Man story when he heard the interview say it.
Hmm. Well, then only Hogan knows. But that's what I thought. It was a parasailing accident.
Yeah, I was going to say I knew it was something with boating. Yep. Yep. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that with the Hulkster and Macho Man, but hey, it's a great story to kind of keep going. For example, here we go. For example, Jim Duggan teaming with Sergeant Slaughter against some younger heels who said you're both old and washed up.
Ah, well, that's one way to do it.
I could think of not against younger heels, but I could think of guys like Slaughter and Iron Sheik who feuded and then teamed up against Hogan and Warrior. I could think of some guys like that where I guess you feud for a certain period of time, but then you guys can team up.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's an interesting way to mix things up. I just don't know who you do it well. I mean, you got the Usos going against Solo and Roman Reigns coming up, but I don't know if that constitutes what we're talking about.
Are you excited about that?
I am excited about that. I thought that was great. Hey, I'm out or you're out, and so am I. Bam. That was great.
The bloodline is imploding.
I'll tell you what I watched right before we came on, uh, and that was the Guns against the Hardys.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet. Okay, interesting.
That
Was
was
that any
tonight.
good?
Yeah, it was very good. And the Gun Boys are going to be great. They're already pretty damn good now, but I think they're going to be great uh, once they really get in their groove. They're finding it right now, and it's a very good match.
I heard that they had no indie experience prior to AEW, which means that I don't know, maybe just wrestling around with their dad or whatever, training. But do you think that's necessary? Should they have had some, before you get thrown on TV? Do you think you need training, like as far as rep?
Well, I don't know if you need training necessarily where it's a must that you have to do indies first. No, you can learn bad habits on the indies. You can get hurt on the indies. I'm sure they trained somewhere, even if it was in Atlanta or in Florida somewhere, and maybe had matches in practice and things like that. But I don't think that it's required to go ahead and work the indies first. They've got natural talent. They've got natural charisma. So
They definitely have the thing you need, kind of most character. Like, you know what I mean? They could talk, they have character. That seems to be something that they have in spades, those two guys.
yeah, character, confidence. Uh, so that's really what it takes. And they did. They had a good match.
He's saying the Gun Boys versus a reformed Chuck and Billy. Wow, that'd be awesome. I would love that. I used to love Billy and Chuck. That was such a hilarious tag team.
Okay.
Do you remember them, Billy and Chuck?
Well, of course I remember Billy and
Okay.
Chuck. How could I forget?
What a gimmick. I wouldn't.
No, see, you can't even do that gimmick anymore.
No, hell no. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay.
And they wouldn't be heels either if they
right.
did that. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Dell is saying I wouldn't get angry over the hotel keycard thing because I'd be so happy the heel wrestler made me a part of the show by clowning on me. I agree. That's pretty funny.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You guys coming out giving your girl the hotel key, and instead of laughing in his face, going, ha, 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 he's going, hey, wait a minute. Charlene, are you going over there or what?
The Gun Boys versus Chuck and Billy, and they said would be the modern spin on things. Like, I do kind of like that. Billy is in pretty damn good shape.
Billy's in great shape.
Off topic, any memories of Rico? He spoke highly of you last night on Rene Dupree's podcast, said that he learned from you. Wow.
Well, that's nice of him. But Rico was always a good guy. He was a stunt guy, security, like a cop. He was in shape. He looked young for his age. He's in great shape. Nice guy.
I just remember I was at Survivor Series 02, and there was a 6-man tag involving him and Jeff Hardy was on the other side. And Jeff was supposed to do a spot and knock him off the ropes. And I just remember him. It's so funny. He's waiting for Jeff. He goes, God damn it, Jeff. Where the fuck are you? Get over here. And Jeff knocks him off the rope. Jeff must have forgot the spot.
Well, yeah, that happens, but he got over there in time.
Yeah. Rico, though, it is true. I always thought he was a lot younger when he was in WWF. I didn't realize that. He looked awesome.
Yeah, he did look awesome. And he trained hard, worked hard, earned everything he got. Actually,
he was a cop, right? In the Louisville area.
No, Vegas.
Oh, Vegas. I'm sorry, I'm thinking OVW. Yep, Vegas. Okay.
Yeah, but he wrestled in OVW.
Yes.
He was training in OVW, but he was a cop in Vegas, and then then he got hired.
Holy smoke! I thought he died. Nope, he's still alive.
Yeah. I think he's security now in Vegas.
Jason said, I remember him from American Gladiators. And Mr. Retriever said, I saw Rico on American Gladiators. Yes.
Yes.
I love that. I love that tie-in. Gladiators and wrestling.
Well, it's a perfect tie-in.
Yep,
perfect,
I agree.
It's perfect.
All those guys have gimmicks. Yep.
Yeah. They fit in just fine.
Ibsen, Rico said that Bruce got on his nerves for speaking tall tales, and you're one of the coolest ones. He's a cop now in Vegas, he said.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I knew there was something in Vegas.
What about Bruce telling tall tales? Are there any truth to that? Or?
Well, I can neither confirm nor deny any of these rumors that are being spread.
I kind of have a hard time believing that Bruce would tell tall tales. I don't know.
Well, I mean, we're all entitled to our opinions.
Stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened and will continue to happen.
Did you train him, though, specifically? Or was it one of the things where you came down for a camp and he was in the camp in OVW and you were just training the camp? You weren't like his trainer per se, were you?
No. I would come down and we'd do the seminar. And he would just be there.
Are you an
But
arm wrest? Oh, I'm sorry.
no. Come down. I mean, but I was coming down on a regular basis.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Are you an arm wrestling fan at all?
Well, why wouldn't I be?
All right. Question for you: who would win an arm wrestling match, Bruce versus Dr. Tom?
Well, I got to tell you. I mean, I'm not. I'm not going to sell myself short on this one. I got to beat him in the arm wrestling match.
Who would win in a karate match, you or Bruce?
I know he's a 3-time Hall of Famer. Depends what the execution was. Because if we get in tight, I got him. But if he stays away from me, he might have a chance.
Wrestling match, I'm guessing would obviously would
Well,
be
that's what I'm saying. You know, I get in tight. You can't wrestle in karate, but I can do some striking in close.
nice. All right. Scorch says a few years ago, Rico had some serious health problems, but he seems to have made a full recovery. I do remember he was not doing well.
Yeah, I heard that too. So that's good. That's good. He is recovered and back on the mend.
Going back to Matt Bourne for a second, what do you think? Like, if somebody said like memories of him or legacy of him, like how was he remembered in the business? I know people are going to say Doink, but what about his whole career? Like, how do you think he's going to be remembered?
Well, Mick said it best that he didn't do his best work necessarily on a national scale, but he did it on in the territories and the regional part of things. Matt was on the first WrestleMania against Ricky Steamboat, so I didn't realize that or didn't think about it until I saw it. So I think everybody who was on that first WrestleMania should be known for that because that was a groundbreaking event. That was where it was. That's not where it all started, but it sure started for the modern era. So I think he's got a legacy, and every time he went in the ring. Yeah, I would say I didn't know him in his later years, obviously in the ring, but every time he went to the ring, he wanted to go out and have a hell of a match. I know that much about him. So he had a work ethic. I think. I don't know. Again, I'm talking about when I knew him in the '80s, and from what I saw when he was in WCW after Doink. That he has a legacy he should be proud of, man. He has some good matches. He did some good things.
Man, those WrestleMania 1 guys, they're like just classic. Everybody remembers WrestleMania 1. They remember everyone on that card. So him and Steamboat, for whatever reason, not that it's forgotten, but it's almost like he did so many other things after that. People kind of, he didn't hang around much after WrestleMania 1. So people kind of do tend to forget that he was a part of that awesome first WrestleMania.
Right. So it's good that if you love the business or care about the business or care about just looking at some of the stuff, you'd be surprised at who came before you and who did a lot of other stuff prior to 2023.
Random question here. How much did Jimmy Del Rey bench press? Wow.
327 pounds.
Do you know that as a fact?
Yeah, factual. I was there. I wrote it down. I measured each weight. 349 pounds.
What do you think about that? That's quite a question there. Right? Pretty good question. Wanted to know how much Jimmy Del Rey benched.
Okay.
You would have to have a pretty good memory to remember something like that. So that's pretty good.
Well, I'm not doubting that. I'm just saying, if it's pertinent how much Jimmy Del Rey pressed, then it's pertinent for me to remember. 367 pounds.
All right. I believe it.
4 times.
From Aaron Lineberry, wasn't you, which I like that, wasn't you and Matt Bourne in the USWA in Dallas and on ESPN together?
Um, no, I wasn't there when Matt was there.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I know you guys were in Georgia together. I know you were in
Yeah.
Portland together. Made a brief pit stop in Houston Wrestling in 1982 together, and then, like you said, New Japan Pro Wrestling together, and then randomly in 2005, Wrestle Reunion 2, D'Lo Brown, Dusty Rhodes, the Blue Meanie, and Dr. Tom Prichard defeated Andrew Test Martin, Steve Carino, the Max Superstar, and
Yes.
Maniac Matt Bourne. Wow,
Yes. That
Wrestle
was
Reunion 2, what a show!
that was a lot of fun. I had fun in that match. That was a lot of fun.
What a weird grouping there. I mean, 8 pretty good guys, but what an interesting grouping there.
What do you mean weird? What's so weird
Like
about that? The blue and
like,
meanie?
okay, like, you throw Meanie in there,
Yeah.
and then, like, just I don't know, like, the Max
Who,
Superstar at this point,
who's on,
2005?
hold on. Who's on Meanie's team again?
You,
Yeah.
D'Lo, and Dusty.
And the American Dream, baby. And then we've
Yeah.
got who? We've got Doink. We've got Test. We got the
Yep.
Mass Superstar.
And
And
Steve
who?
Carino, the king of old school.
And Steve Carino. Aren't you sorry you missed that?
Yeah, Wrestle Reunion 2, which was wow, it's in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. That's not far from me at all at the Valley
Right.
Forge Convention Plaza. Wow. Wrestle Reunion 2, which is on August 27th, 2005. Wow.
Yeah.
How do you like that? Wow.
Yeah. It was it was a lot of fun.
Ibsen wants to know where we can get the book that all wrestlers can learn to be an excellent wrestler. Of course, it's pro wrestling curriculum, advice, suggestions, and stories to help the aspiring pro get to the next level. Dr. Tom, where can everybody get the book?
You can go to our website at jpwrestlingacademy.com. Click on the training tab at the top of the page, and that book comes right up for you, Ibsen, I promise. Just jpwrestlingacademy.com.
Of course, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Two Man Power Trip. Check out the website, tmptempire.com. Dr. Tom, what else you got going on in this crazy world?
We got the last week of JPWA, and then we're starting our summer session July 3rd, which goes through, I believe, September 22nd. And we've got some cool things happening these next 12 weeks of beautiful Tennessee sunshine in the summertime.
Now, your figure is now out, right? Is that true?
Yes.
Brad Armstrong both have your
Mhm.
figure.
Figures Toy Company, yeah. So Brad's figure, my figure came out. I think Savio Vega, a couple other people came out. So yeah, it's kind of cool.
That took a long time for that figure to
Yes.
come out, by the way. Have you noticed that?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think yeah, it did. It took a while. So, but I knew it was going to take a while.
Ibsen just throws in there, you need to come back to the Northeast for me and John. Yes. When are you coming back to the Northeast, Dr. Tom?
I'm doing a signing. I don't have it in here. Dadgummit. It's a virtual signing. Flying into LaGuardia. I believe it's July 24th. Does that sound right?
That would be a Sunday. No, or is that a Monday? That's a Monday.
Yeah, it's a Monday. So I'm flying in and out. So I'll be up there that day.
Nice. Is that for K&S? Is that for Ken?
Yes, it's for Ken.
The legendary Ken. Nice. Very
Yes.
cool.
Yes. So
this is a different toy company. This is Hastel Toys, but they have Savio Vega, Duke the Dumpster Drosy, and Ahmed Johnson figures coming out.
Oh, okay. I saw Savio's.
Yeah, everybody's getting figures, which is awesome. Yeah, I think the Godwins are coming out. I mean, everybody. So
Awesome.
even Brad Armstrong, who I don't think ever had a figure before, is getting.
No. It's both of our first times, man. So it's pretty good.
Very cool. Jason, thank you, Dr. Tom and Mr. John. Good time as always. Yes. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you to Dr. Tom. We'll see you right back here next week for the little Take You to School with Dr. Tom Prichard. We'll see you next week, folks.